RMJ Movie Reviews back again. And I told y'all I was coming with a review from a Halloween October series or whatever. I'm coming with a review of 1990's Night of the Living Dead remake, directed by the horror special effects master himself, Tom Savini, starring Candyman, Tony Todd, Tom Tolles, William Butler. Who else am I missing? Barbara. Let me look at the cover. I can't remember her name. The redhead chick. Oh, I'm sorry. Barbara's her character's name. Her name is Patricia Tallman. I really like this actress. This is a really cool remake. I remember I had seen previews for it at the time in 1990 when it had come out. Matter of fact, it was playing at a drive-in called Miles Drive-In over by the now about to be defunct Randall Mall in Cleveland. But Miles Drive-In has since been torn down years ago. Matter of fact, digressing a little bit, I think the last movie I actually saw at Miles Drive-In before they tore the theater down was actually, embarrassingly, Jason Goes to Hell. And I actually saw Pet Sematary 2 and The Perfect Weapon with Jeff Speakman. Terminator 2 I also saw there too. Digressing, all that out the way. I remember seeing previews for this at the time. Particularly, I remember the shot of, I think it's where the zombie falls over the rail at the girl. I remember seeing that a lot in the trailers. And at that time, I knew that this was a remake, but I don't think I had seen... I'm sorry, y'all. I don't think... I just wanted to grab my little hand massager. I don't think I had seen the original movie yet. I didn't see the original movie, I think, until maybe... Me and my mother watched it. I think I was maybe about 11 or I think it might have been 10. I know it was before me and my mom had moved from our old house. We had watched it in the living room. And I think I had seen this one first. And then I saw the original one in about 1991 or 92, about a year or two after this came out. But I always really liked this movie. And it's kind of funny when I saw Siskel and Ebert review it. Not at the time, but I kind of resaw some retro reviews on YouTube, and they are just I don't know, man. Maybe at the time it was because they were grown men in their 40s or early 50s or whatever. They were just so boring. It's damn, it's just a horror movie. Just relax and chill. But I really like this. I think it's a respectable remake. I like the original one. I've only seen the original one, I think, maybe about 3 times. But I like that movie. I think the reason this movie was made and watching the behind the scenes material, the reason this movie was made is I think it was because of George Romero, and I think it was people not getting money from the original movie, or they sold the title. Business stuff was the reason this movie was made. But aside from the business aspect, it's a very respectable remake of the original, I think. Of course, it's a lot more gory than the original. And actually, surprisingly, the original has a lot of nudity, at least from what I remember. A lot of, butt shots, people's butts. And surprisingly, the most graphic scene I remember in that movie, I think, is the scene where the little girl murders the mom. She murders her with the garden thing, whatever it's called, but she actually stabs her to death. It's a pretty violent death scene. There's a little homage to that in this one, but she doesn't kill her with the garden thing. But it's a really respectable remake. Tom Savini does a really good job directing. I think it's a pretty tightly woven little thriller. Tony Todd is a great Ben. I really like him in this role, and I know he tends to play a lot of bad guys in movies, but I really like him in this role. He really plays the good guy role well. It's a good compliment to what I think his name is Dwayne Johnson, who was in the original one, and Patricia Tallman, who I think her name was Barbara in the original, but this character has totally changed, because the girl in the original was just wispy and wimpy, and matter of fact, there's a part where Ben actually slaps her across the face. I mean, it kind of would have been cool if they'd put that scene, but they went in a totally different direction. They kind of went Linda Hamilton, Trinity from Matrix direction with this character Barbara in this one. And the thing that's great about this is this Night of the Living Dead came out the year before Terminator 2. So this was before the Linda Hamilton macho female thing. You know, and she's a really strong female lead in this one. Her and Tony Todd are a very good complement to each other. Tom Tolles, I mean, he always delivers on that very snarky, scumbaggy. He plays that role so well. I can't remember. I think he died 3 years ago now. But he was a really fantastic character actor. I mean, I really missed that dude. He was a lot of fun to watch. And seeing interviews of him on TV, he was a really nice dude. And I didn't realize I think he was a Navy SEAL, or he was in the Navy. But he was actually a military man. You know, really strange. But he was a really nice guy. William Butler, who of course was in Friday the 13th Part 7, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Leatherface, and a couple of other movies I can't think of. He's always a capable actor, really good actor. I can't remember the name of the actress who plays his girlfriend, Betty Sue or Susie Sue, whatever her name is. She's really good too. Matter of fact, I like her scene where like Ben and all them are arguing, and she just looks at him and goes like, "Hey, this is our house. I'll let you all in here." So all the actors do a really good job. The special effects are really good. If there's only one thing that kind of slightly bothers me now is when Barbara actually says they're so slow, we can just run past them. That kind of, for me, rewatching this movie now, and I haven't seen this movie in like a couple years, but because it used to air a lot on the Channel 43 afternoon movie and stuff, back when they still used to air these movies on regular TV. But it kind of bothers me now because it kind of deflates, it kind of just kills the tension, because you realize that this movie could like be over like really soon. You know, and if it wasn't for the arguing between Cooper and Ben, I mean, really, everybody probably would live. I mean, really, essentially, Ben, the lead, and Cooper get everybody else killed because of their arguing. You know, it's like if they weren't arguing, everybody probably would have made it through this situation. You know, because Barbara is the most level-headed. Barbara and the wife are the most level-headed ones. You know, the couple, they're just like, you know, they're hysterical. They just can barely keep it together, you know, because their family members have been killed and all of that. And as far as the changes to the original go, I think there's some, you know, pretty good changes, you know, because in the original it was pretty straightforward. Everybody was pretty much one-dimensional, which they kind of are about this way here. But I think kind of adding that element of an actual violent physical confrontation between Ben and Cooper, which I think in the original they had a confrontation, but it wasn't to this level where they actually literally were trying to kill each other with guns. And I think that added a little bit. The fact that the little girl, the dying little girl, she became a zombie in the original one, but it really is cool how there's a scene where Ben says, you know, Cooper, you need to kill her. And he's like, he can't, and he shoots Ben. So I thought that little dynamic was cool. Of course, a lot of what's really been changed is that last third act, when you find out that Ben turns into a zombie. You know, for me, that was always a letdown, because Tony Todd, regardless of kind of the stupid stuff his character does, I mean, Tony Todd is Tony Todd. He's a good presence. You don't want to see the guy die, man. So it sucks when he dies and he comes back as a zombie. But it was a nice twist. I do like the twist that Barbara actually just like guns down Cooper. That was really cool. I mean, unexpected when I very first saw the movie on video. Or actually, I think I first saw it on the Showtime cable network back in the day. But that was like really unexpected. It was just like, damn, she just shot him in the head. You know, really cool twist. Cold-blooded murder, but he got his comeuppance. You know, he killed Ben, you know. Got a lot of other people killed. And I also like the little twist with, although I always thought it was stupid, even when I first saw the movie, is the one where they got the wrong keys for the gas pump and he like loses his mind and he tries to shoot the lock off. I mean, I was just like, really? But I guess if you really think about it, you'd probably be so stressed from the craziness of the situation that you probably would flip and do something like that. So, you know, looking at it from a movie perspective, it's kind of stupid. It doesn't make much sense. But if you really put yourself in the character's perspective, you probably would lose your mind and like not even think about it and just do it. Because I know sometimes, like working as many hours as I do, sometimes I do feel like I am losing my mind. So it probably would happen. Um, and then the final little part with kind of the reintroduction of the rednecks in this one. I can't remember if they had that little photo montage in the original one. I don't remember if they did or if they did. Somebody can comment below and tell me. But I think it's kind of a really uncomfortable. You know, they're like hanging the zombies and they got them like in these little things like they're animals at the zoo. It's actually pretty uncomfortable. I know it's a horror movie, but it's you know, they're lynching these zombies, and I don't know, that part of the movie always really made me uncomfortable watching it. But a really cool little twist as far as the whole subtext of we're them and they're us. I don't buy into any subtext, especially in terms of horror movies. If I'm watching a movie like, you know, American History X or Mississippi Burning or Rosewood or Higher Learning or Malcolm X or whatever, then, you know, that all that kind of thinking makes sense. But, you know, horror pictures and Hills Have Eyes and Uncivilized meets Civilized, I mean, I just don't buy it. I just watch the damn horror movie and enjoy it for what it is. So Night of the Living Dead, 1990. I've always really liked the movie. I think it's a fun little horror picture. I recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it. That completes my review of it. And also, too, one last thing. I always like this cool little synth musical score that goes over the credits with the photo montage. I always really like that music. That's one thing I left out, is that this movie has some really creepy sounding music in it. I really like the music in this film. It's just really subtle and creepy. And this movie does feel creepier than the original. The original is good, but this does have... It feels creepy. It really feels creepy. So for that, I think they did a good job. Subscribe to my channel. Thumbs up my video. Leave some comments below about Night of the Living Dead 1990. I'm going to squeeze in as many more kind of horror pictures as I can for the last week and a half. I did the same thing last year. So, unfortunately, people, what I'm going to do is, I don't know why I'm going to do this, but I'm actually my next review is going to be a very painful thing to sit through. And it's going to be Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers from 1995. Starring Stephen Rudd, before he was Paul Rudd. The late Donald Pleasance. Directed by Joe Chappelle. All of us horror fans, Lord. I'm going to breeze through that little 85-minute movie, and I'm going to put my rant up afterwards. I decided I've been so kind on all these movies, I got to squeeze in one that I could rant about and have all my negative things I got to get out. So, yeah, guys, I'll be back with that one. I've also decided, too, I'm going to try to squeeze in the Stepfather series. Not that horrible remake, but the first two films that starred Terry O'Quinn, and even Stepfather 3 that went straight to video back in 1992. So I'm going to squeeze that one in. I guess I shouldn't just start spewing out movies, but I'm going to just try to squeeze in as many as I can. I'm going to try to do a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, one of them, and I think I'm going to try to squeeze in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I'll probably choose Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, another controversial choice, you know. But either way, RMJ Movie Reviews, I'll talk to you guys soon.